Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today, and I am joined by my video partner in crime.
Hello there everybody, I'm Blackenfist and today I'm going to be your guest.
Yes, and we will be talking about a certain thing that was brought up as Blackenfist and I were discussing Dragon Ball. We thought about, what if Goku fought alongside Vegeta, Trunks, and the rest of the Z fighters against the androids in the series and how that would affect. And you said it's a pretty simple conclusion, so without wasting any more time, we'll get straight into this video. So, Blackenfist, share your thoughts.
Well, I think it's pretty simple here. If 16 is involved, I do think that will give both the androids pretty much the edge, even if Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks are all together, because 16 is significantly more powerful than all three of not all three of them combined, but all three of them individually. So that, I think, will really turn the tables. At that point, I think Goku will be wise enough, and especially Trunks will be both wise enough to back off that fight. And they'll probably back off, and if they don't, they're obviously going to get killed. So, yeah, it's a pretty simple thing there. Either they back off and fight another day, or they keep fighting and they get killed. If 16 is not there, then it actually could be possible for them to actually overpower both 17 and 18. That's pretty much the short answer.
Well, from a comparison point of view, it's not official, but it was stated that Vegeta was stronger than Goku at that point. I don't think Vegeta was stronger. I think that it's not fair considering Goku's power was decreasing, but
they were definitely similar
in the ballpark. And Trunks, you would say he's probably not that far behind. So
yeah, exactly, they were all three of them were pretty similar,
right? And because of that, because of the way 18 and 17 made Vegeta and Trunks look like they were kids that didn't know how to fight, I would think that if you added Goku, I don't think he'd make that much of a difference. And Piccolo even said it himself. He says, I think if Goku was here, I don't think he would have made much of a difference. However, if our topic is what if Goku was eligible for the fight, that would mean we would have to go to a previous event. And I thought about this. If Goku is around, and let's say he didn't get the heart virus. Now, I did a whole video on what if Goku never caught the heart virus to give a more in-depth analysis on it. But let's just say all the events were parallel up to this point. So, let's say Goku, was fighting 19 and managed to beat him in the same way that Vegeta, he wouldn't intervene and they would just go fight the androids afterwards. Would Dr.Gero have survived to get to his android base? Or do you think Goku and Piccolo would have just wiped him out before he could cause more trouble? That's the question.
That's actually an interesting point of view, that perhaps Dr.Gero wouldn't have made it to his base if Goku was there. And especially if Trunks was there too. That's actually a very certain possibility. I mean, Dr.Gero barely made it out as it was in the series. He had his whole arm chopped off and everything. And he was about...
Bulma basically saved him.
Yeah, pretty much. So he barely got out as he was. So I think if Goku was there, if Trunks was there, if either of them were there, and especially if both, yeah, Dr.Gero probably wouldn't have made it out. He probably wouldn't have activated 7 or have gotten the opportunity to activate 17 and 18.
Well, our video was strictly talking about what would happen if Goku was in the fight. So we're not necessarily trying to include so much about Goku actually being there ahead of time. But in terms of just the fight, I agree with you. I mean, you gotta think that if 16 was there, he'd cause a lot of problems. But let's think of a hypothetical in this, Blackenfist. What if it was just 17 and 18 and no 16? If just 17 and 18 fought Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks along with Piccolo and the rest of the Z fighters, how do you think that would turn out?
I really feel that's kind of an even fight, but if you're really putting them all together like that, I honestly feel that the edge slightly goes to the Z fighters in that, because there's just so many of them, and it gets two. yes, I guess both of the androids are pretty strong in comparison to them individually, but if they're going against like Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, and Piccolo, especially Piccolo because he's around that strength as well. Um, of course, we're talking about a pre-Kami
Yeah,
fused
so he's
Piccolo, of
not as
course.
strong as the Super Saiyans.
Right, right. But he's kind of in there, in that ballpark. I mean, I honestly believe that they probably it'll go to the Z fighters in that. But I mean, it's a close fight. It could go to the androids, as I think perhaps maybe you would think, Qaaman.
Well, honestly, at the end of the day, Blackenfist, I have to say that looking at how easy 18 beat up Vegeta, and when she was taking the fight serious, and considering the fact that in both the anime and the manga, Trunks was virtually wiped out in one blow by 17, I'm gonna say that if they wiped out Trunks that easily, and considering the fact that the other Z fighters are still so much weaker than the rest of them, I honestly think that Goku not joining that fight was probably the best decision for the future events of the plot, because if Goku was there, all of the Z fighters would have been wiped out, and then Cell would just absorb the androids and have nobody to challenge, because Cell wouldn't have had Piccolo to be in his way. You know what I'm saying? Because if you think about it, Cell came back at that point. We're keeping all the events parallel at that point. So when Cell came back because he wanted to absorb the androids, right? Well, if Goku and the rest are not there, then Cell just absorbs the androids and he has really nobody to even challenge him. Now, ironically, Cell became perfect anyways. But at the end of the day, I mean, he would just absorb them, and what would he do after? I mean, would he even be strong enough to absorb them with 16 around?
Well, that's an interesting thing. I'm pretty sure that if he did get manage to absorb both 17 and 18 and with no challenge on Earth, I'm pretty sure that he would just blow it up. Um,
And just have
yeah,
fun,
pretty
and the
yeah,
rest is
pretty
history.
much blow it up and move on to the next planet.
Well, Blackenfist, I think this was a pretty solid topic for today. At the end of the day, you think that the Z Fighters would have been able to beat them? I honestly just don't.
Yeah, well, I think it's a close fight, definitely, but with all of them together, it's hard to say, but I kind of think the Z Fighters have the edge.
Well, I respect your opinion. I think that at the end of the day, because of how easy Trunks was wiped out, I use that as a scale to evaluate Goku and Vegeta, who probably aren't much better. And I would say with 17 and 18, I think the rest of the Z Fighters would be killed like flies. And I think Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks would probably take a few blows, but I think at the end of the day, they'd all be wiped out. But I think we both agree that it was best for the plot for Goku to have not been in that fight as we see the future events. And I hope you guys check out my more in-depth video talking about what if Goku never got the heart virus, where I talk about all of the constants of the events of Goku never catching the virus in the first place. And I hope you guys enjoy it. So, Blackenfist, say your wonderful liner that you always say in every single video.
Well, anyway, guys, this has been me, Blackenfist, as your guest, and I'm out, man.
Yes, and please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys, and to please check out our other Dragon Ball TFT videos.